Alright, we're at Mountain Gardens down at the foot of my driveway. It's, it's about the 28th of October, something like that. Late. But it's still a beautiful autumn day. We're having a really mild autumn. Chrysanthemums are looking really good. So this is the plant we want to talk about. Chrysanthemum Juhua. And you can see there are 3 different varieties here. So this is an herb that's used for, it's in the category of cool herbs that release the exterior. So it's sweet, bitter, and slightly cold. And it goes to the liver and the lungs. So it helps with early stages of catching a cold, what's called wind heat. And often for that purpose combined with mulberry leaves, for example. There's a famous formula for that. So there are 4 varieties of the chrysanthemum. The yellow one is called Hang Juhua. The white one, the single white one, is Bo Juhua. Then there's a double white one. This is growing in a different part of the garden. You can see the difference. This has a lot more petals. You don't really see the central disc on this one as you do with the other white one. Right here. You see the difference? And then there's this small white one, what we call a button chrysanthemum. So these are the 4 varieties. And there's some confusion about the names. Kind of a vexing matter. We've spent a lot of time trying to figure this out. We've got about 8 sources now that we're using, and the more sources we get, the more confusing the whole thing gets. Definitely the yellow one is Hang Juhua, although there are some indications that Hang Juhua can be either yellow or white. This one we're calling Bo Juhua, and this is probably the sweet chrysanthemum. So the yellow ones are more bitter, and they're stronger at releasing the exterior and treating toxicity. The white ones go to the liver and help tonify the liver and improve circulation from the liver. And that's very helpful, particularly for the eyes. So this is a famous herb for the eyes. The white one is used that way. And it's often combined with goji berries, which makes a very nice cup of tea. Some chrysanthemum flowers, some goji berries. You can add a little green tea if you want. And just sip it throughout the day. Very good for eye problems, red eyes, and so on. So that's Hang Juhua, Bo Juhua. Now where the confusion comes in is between this one and this one. We've been calling this Gong Juhua and this Chu Juhua, but Peg Schaefer in her book Chinese Herb Farm has that the opposite way around. She's calling this Chu and this Gong. We're both growing the same stuff. Cultivars that came from Robert Newman about 15 years ago, so still trying to sort that out. But in any case, the main one that you want to use for most purposes is going to be this Bo Juhua. So this is a very easily grown perennial. This is a famous herb, flower in China. Probably second only to the peony as far as being the best loved flower. Lots of poetry, lots of mythology, lots of many cultivars. The Chinese have been growing and writing manuals about chrysanthemums for thousands of years, and peonies. There's a famous poem by Dao Hongjing, one of the most famous poets in China, about having chrysanthemums flowering but not having any wine to put them in, to make his drink of immortality. So it definitely has anti-aging properties as well. It's an old Taoist herb. So particularly he wanted to float the flowers in wine, but he didn't have any wine, so he's writing a kind of mournful poem about that. But lots of connotations, because it is the last major flower of the year. It flowers, right in the teeth of really bad weather sometimes. So that's thought to be admirable, very tough, resilient. So very easily grown. What you want to do is get a hold of the correct chrysanthemums. There are a million chrysanthemums out there. But you want to start with the medicinal varieties. I wouldn't try them from seed. get a start, and then once you've got it going, this plant is very easily divided. I could take up one of these clumps and make 20 new plants. It's like runners that come out from the main plant, and you can detach them. So you multiply it that way. Tough, easy to grow, not particularly picky about any kind of growing conditions. Makes a very nice flower for your ornamental flower border, or just use it in any kind of situation. Mostly sun, light shade is also okay. You can see the size of them here. Although they can get significantly bigger, these are kind of sprawling out. One year I staked them out up and they were like 4 or 5 feet tall. These flowering stems can be quite lengthy. So that's Juhua, the Chinese chrysanthemum. This is what it looks like at the moment in our herb shop. Dried flowers. These might be ours, or they might be domestically produced in North Carolina. Cools and tonifies the liver, brightens the eyes, resolves toxicity, disperses wind, clears heat. The way we used to buy it from China, it came in big sheets of hundreds, if not thousands, of flowers all kind of pressed together, and you could tear off a chunk of it, throw it in boiling water, and all the flowers would reconstitute. And you'd have all these flowers floating around in your jar. It was quite attractive. This is domestically produced. I think those, the Chinese way they do it is somehow steam it first and then dry it. There are a lot of post-harvest techniques the Chinese have that we just have not yet learned in America. If you pick them when they're fully open, the petals are probably going to fall off. You don't get that really nice effect of a dried flower opening up in the hot water. So I think, you know, we just haven't learned how to do it properly yet. But still, really important medicinal. Not to say that we're losing out, you know, on the medicinal value of it. Maybe just the aesthetics. Who knows? I think the Chinese steam a lot of herbs just to stop enzyme activity and so on, you know. But then you got to dry it off very promptly after that. So the white one, like I said, mainly for the liver and the eyes, and the yellow one more for releasing the exterior. That's the more bitter one. They're classified by how sweet they are. In fact, the white one is called the sweet chrysanthemum. Well, if you taste it, not very many Americans would call it sweet. But by comparison to the yellow one, which is definitely bitter, it's like less bitter. It's probably about the best you can say about it. But a really nice, important Chinese herb to add to your garden. All right, so we want to look at this other species of chrysanthemum. So here we had the Beau Juhua, Chrysanthemum morifolium. This is Chrysanthemum indicum. Now, a lot of the chrysanthemums that are on the market are probably hybrids between these two. But this one is called Ye Juhua, and it's somewhat different uses. This is in the category of clear heat resolve toxicity. So it's bitter and slightly cool, and it's mainly used externally for hot swollen sores, carbuncles and furuncles, whatever they are, and hot sores. Can also be used for extreme sore throat and red eyes due to heat. This is Chrysanthemum indicum. Also easy to grow, as easy as the other chrysanthemum. Looks very similar. The leaves are pretty much indistinguishable, but the flower is distinctly different. So that's Ye Juhua. Not as important an herb as the regular Juhua. This is the important one here, Beau Juhua.